this thing. And oh, by the way, the last 3 SEC tournament winners have failed to make the College World Series. This is a nothing burger. That's all it is. And I know that you'd like to see Hagen a little bit longer, but let's just go. Let's just go to what Dave said, what he told Phil right before they got going. There was a plan in place.
And then in our situation today is that, we're not going to throw him very long. And, we'll see how it goes. But, I remember last time when he pitched against him, they fought him as good as anybody we played all year as far as fouling off pitches and driving up his pitch count. They've got a tough lineup.
And they challenged him today, just like they did in that game 1. I mean, Hagen, again, pitched 2 innings, gave up the hits. It was just kind of a weird thing, right? He has the leadoff walk, and then you have a misfire. I mean, he still had 4 strikeouts, right, in 2 innings. Not many college baseball guys can have 4 strikeouts in 2 innings, but it was just a weird start to the game, and he ends up getting pulled. They answer Gage Wood, who gives up a couple home runs. Then they go Will McIntyre, Tiger Molina. We saw a couple pitchers that you wondered if you were going to see in Tiger Molina. I know Tiger didn't necessarily give you any assurance that he's going to be fully ready to go. I still wonder about his health. I really do. Brady just has not looked like himself and not just last few weeks, but a good chunk of this season. And I hope he rounds into form because he is a crucial part of this pitching rotation and a big part of this team. Unfortunately, did not give any solace, Big C, on the way he performed in Hoover, Alabama today.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a letdown, I guess you could say, but nothing. I mean, is there anything that he can do to show that he's like?
Plan. All right, Jerry has called in on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. Again, it's Hog Reaction, myself, Big C, Tyler answering the phones. If you want to jump in here, do so. 877-377-6963. What's up, Jerry?
How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Hey, Ty, I'm right there with you, man. This tournament is clearly a nothing burner, to use your terminology. You look at the past 3 national championship winners, they've combined to win 1 game in Hoover.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, the past few champions who won it, Vanderbilt last year, I believe Tennessee the year before.
Yep. And then Arkansas the year before that. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. They don't win the national championship, and they haven't even made it to Omaha. So I'm right there with you. Like, there's no cause for concern, in my opinion. You also look at 2022 Arkansas. They went 0-2 in Hoover, and, we're a Dylan DeLucia, complete game from sweeping OU in the national championship. So I'm not concerned about that. But, Ty, I do want to ask you, and you'll probably be asked this question a lot, and maybe you've talked about it a little bit, and you probably don't want to hear it. But I mean, does the Hagen Smith, not his outing concern you, but the fact that, you know, his velo did go from, you know, high to mid 90s to 91 in the second inning. And, you know, there have been, you know, kind of murmurs that, I think I saw something on Facebook, so keep in mind social media, but like there was a video circulating of Hagen saying, like, I felt something, like maybe with his arm. Do you think there's any concern with potentially, you know, his arm going forward? And I mean, I hope not, because you think about Arkansas sports, I mean, he has been the best pitcher in the country all year, and I would absolutely hate for the last start of before postseason and probably the most meaningless game, there'd be something wrong with him. So the floor is yours, Ty. Thank you, sir, and I'll listen to the answer to the question. Thank you, guys.
Jerry, appreciate it. Kind of backed me in the wall there. I have no idea if there's any injury. I hope that it is, like I just said, them losing 2 straight games in Hoover's and nothing burger. I hope there's nothing to this at all. The velocity part of your call is true. He was down typically to where he is, and I had wondered about that. I was watching kind of the late pitches, if there was any. But, like, I think we assume the worst, right? And I know that I've been given a hard time occasionally on this program, not this program, but in the mornings, about assuming the worst about Arkansas baseball. And that's, Jerry, I'm like you. That's where my thought went immediately. I mean, can you imagine? And I don't even know if I want to put this out in the stratosphere, but I'm going to. Like, if Hagen did and wasn't, like, it's almost hard to like compute. And so I don't want to. We're going to hear from Dave Van Horn, I would guess, soon. I haven't listened to his press conference yet. We'll get some of those audio clips. That was a pregame clip that we just played. But, yeah, I'm curious to some of the things that he had to say following to get a 9-6 loss to the Kentucky Wildcats. I will say we're getting a couple texts here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. If you want to jump in like Jerry did, you can do so at 877-377-6963. JT doesn't feel too confident about them kind of being where they are. We also got another response on YouTube about losing 5 of 7s. I think it was the errors that kind of threw me off today. I know Hagen, again, had that short outing. You heard Dave's plan right there, but that was what I was just I was just shocked by more than anything. It's not a concern for me moving forward. You heard Chris Burke and Dave Neal talk about it during the broadcast. They're the number 1 team tied with Mississippi State for the best fielding percentage in the conference, right? So it's not all of a sudden they're just going to fall apart. I can't see that happening. But it was just weird to me, Big C.
I think it just tells me maybe they weren't laser focused. I mean,
well, that's
so hard to believe. I mean, there's no benefit to really going up there and winning it other than just holding the trophy. I mean, it may give you a little confidence, but we've seen baseball's a weird sport. You run into one team, it doesn't matter how good you played the week before, the day before, you could get shut down.
It's odd how it goes from time to time. All right, we're 10 minutes into Hog Reaction. If you want to jump in with myself, Big C, and Tyler, Phil Elson's got to eat a little bit, then he'll be along with us, joining us live from Hoover. You can call us, though, and ask your questions to Phil at 877-377-6963. More Hog Reaction coming up, presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback and Kofer's Boat Center in Fort Smith.
This is Hog Reaction. Our coverage is presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback and by Kofer's Boat Center in Fort Smith.
Summer is finally here. Come check out Kofer's Boat Center's huge selection of boats with the best incentives in years. Kofer's experienced professionals will answer all your boating questions, and their award-winning customer service with Mercury, Malibu, Lowe, Camus, and Garmin will keep your boat in peak condition. Kofer's also has a fully stocked pro shop and updated RV and boat storage facilities. Find Kofer's online at Kofers.com. That's Kophers.com. Kofer's Boat Center, your authorized Mercury dealer, helping their customers create a lifetime of memories for over 50 years.
Roll into the season at WT Equipment. Get ready to roll with strong savings on hay tools, compact and mid-range tractors, and even our large commercial-grade hay equipment. Find out and save $5,000, $10,000, or more in cash back. Or get 0% financing for up to 48 months on hay tools, 60 months on mid-range tractors, and up to 72 months on compacts. Hurry, offer ends June 30th for commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Arkansas Game Day.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? Come on over to Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Whacker Newson dealer and a Cinnabogan authorized service provider. From excavators with the best-in-class breakout force to powerful skid steers, we'll be sure to find the right equipment for you. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They are open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts need, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Dallas Street Dental. Refuse to compromise when it comes to replacing missing teeth. Dr. Bill Ligon at Dallas Street Dental can make your smile look, feel, and function almost exactly the way it did before you lost any teeth. In some cases, even better. Dental implants function like your natural teeth and make it possible for you to enjoy those juicy steaks this grilling season. Look younger and smile with confidence with dental implants from Dallas Street Dental. Schedule your free implant consultation today at 479-452-6600.
Need a little extra cash? Go see Rusty at Golden Jute Pond, 310 West Center in Greenwood. Get the money you need with loans on jewelry, guns, tools, and electronics. If you're looking for a gift, they have a large selection of jewelry to choose from, and Rusty can take care of all jewelry repair. Stop by Golden Jute Pond today, 310 West Center in Greenwood, or call 996-2792. Open 9 to 5:30 Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and 9 to 3 on Wednesday. Golden Jute Pond.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Superior Siding and Windows have been improving homes in Fort Smith and the River Valley for over 44 years. Whether your need is siding, vinyl windows, doors, gutters, or metal roofing, Superior Siding is the one to call if you want it done right the first time. Call 479-646-7888 for a free estimate. 100% financing is available, and Superior Siding has AAA rating with Better Business Bureau. Superior Siding, your first call, 479-646-7888. The Links at Chaffee Crossing prides itself in providing award-winning barbecue. Whether you're craving ribs, pork, brisket, or chicken, we can satisfy any appetite. Stop in and watch Razorback Baseball and enjoy everyday food and drink specials like $2 domestic beer or $3 premiums. The Links at Chaffee Crossing is here and ready to serve you the best barbecue in the River Valley. The Links at Chaffee Crossing next to Deer Trails Golf Course. Come see us.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. This is Hog Reaction.
There is a new career strikeout king at the University of Arkansas, and it's Hagen Smith, and he hasn't even completed his third season here.
Our coverage is presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback and by Kofer's Boat Center in Fort Smith.
And we welcome you back to Hog Reaction, brought to you by our friends at the Stadium Shop on Razorback. You can go see Robert, Elizabeth, Matt, and their team. Stop by for not just the best baseball gear, the best summer gear, the best gear out there, as they like to say. The largest selection of Arkansas stuff south of the North Pole. Shop on Razorback.com. It doesn't get any more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. And Kofer's Boat Center in Fort Smith. They have a huge selection of new boats that can be seen on their website. Cophers.com. That's COPHERS.com. Your trusted dealer for Malibu, Axis, Camus, Lowe, and more. Cophers Boat Center, providing family fun since 1971. We go live to Hoover, Alabama, where our buddy Phil Elson is waiting by. I'm kind of, as we've been talking during the break, Phil, I was kind of going over Dave Van Horn's press conference, and he had in Mason Molina and Peyton Holt. It kind of got lost in loss, but an awakening for Peyton Holt with those 3 bombs today, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, those are the positives to take from it, and I like that there are positives that you can point to. You know, Brady Taggart looked really good for an inning. Mason Molina looked really good for 2 innings. I think Arkansas needs both of those pitchers, maybe to make it through a regional and certainly to get all the way to the College World Series. And you're not going to win a national title without those 2 guys doing something big. To see Peyton Holt hit the 2 home runs is great. But this was a poorly played game today. This honestly, this is one of the sloppier games that Arkansas has played out of the 57 games they've played this year. And that'll happen sometimes. I hope they got it out of their system today because I don't know if you can play like they did today and win against teams that are used to winning games. Then you're going to see those kind of teams in a regional next weekend, no matter who they are. They all know how to win baseball games, and if you make 3 errors, if there are 3 or 4 other plays that should have been made but didn't get made, if you continuously leave 8 to 10 runners on base, you're going to struggle. So, I mean, there's a lot to clean up from yesterday, but yeah, there's some good things to take away too.
Yeah, I think about where Arkansas is the last handful of games, Phil, and I know some people are disappointed to maybe how they played the last 10 or so, but it's not like the competition is, and I hate to use that you're going to take a dip at competition next week because we don't know who the 2 seed, we don't know what the regional is going to look like. We'll find out, I guess, the teams on Monday. But I mean, it's the SEC for a reason, and they played some really good ball clubs, a lot, and particularly national seeds. I guess, 6 out of the last 10 games, if my math's correct on that, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a difference between talent level and a team that just plays good baseball. Whomever comes in next week plays good baseball. I don't think you make it to the NCAA tournament as a 2 or a champion, and the 4 seed that comes in is going to be a conference champion. They take advantage of teams' mistakes. So, yeah, there will be a gap in talent between Arkansas and whomever they face on Friday and then probably whomever they face on Saturday. You're not going to see a collection of talent like you see at Hoover, and I think that also includes potentially the College World Series. But tools and talent are much different than what you're able to do to put those things into action. And you're going to face teams next week that are good at playing, I'd expect, fundamental baseball, good at taking advantage of mistakes, not just taking mistakes of errors, but plays that aren't made, double plays that aren't turned, free bases that are given. You look at the 4 stolen bases that Kentucky had today, and look, you'll probably face some teams in a postseason regional that steal a base or 2 now and again. And I didn't feel like Arkansas pitchers held runners very well today. I mean, some of those steals were just because the pitcher wasn't paying very close attention. That's the kind of mistake that opponents take. It's not an error, but it is a mistake that a team will take advantage of. And I saw too many of those mistakes today. There are the 3 errors, but there's about 3 or 4 plays that didn't get made. There were the steals. I mean, really, if you look at mistakes, there probably were 6 to 7 to 8 mistakes today, and it's tough to win a ball game when you make that many mistakes.
And it's not typical of a Dave Van Horn ball club to have that. The 3 errors you just mentioned, that's 9% of your errors this season. You mentioned I heard you guys talking before the game about Hagen's ability to hold runners on, and again, I think Kentucky, correct me if I'm wrong, Phil, don't they have like 20 more bases stolen this season like any other SEC team? So it was in the game plan, it was on film and talked about before the game. It just didn't stick, unfortunately, for this ball club. But when you look at, like, we mentioned the defense and the errors and stuff, I mean, you're hitting, you had 9 hits, but going off what Peyton Stovall said after the loss yesterday to South Carolina, it's just the inability at times when you have guys in either scoring position or on base to bring them home. They have had, I mean, this is not like, you look at the hitting count, they're not at the tail end of the SEC they just, for whatever reason, a weakness of this team this year, unfortunately, has been bringing guys when they've been on base.
Yesterday, it was about the middle of the batting order leaving guys on base, mostly Aloy and Sprague Lott. And they hit the ball well enough, just not those two when they had the opportunities to knock in runs late. Today, it was that the offense really got started too late. By the time you even had a base hit before 2 outs in an inning, you're down 6-0. It's too difficult to continue. The first 5 innings, they didn't have a base runner until 2 outs in each of the first 5 innings and couldn't string anything together. And they came down from 6-0 against Mississippi State. They came down, I think, from 7-0 against Texas Tech. But those comebacks started in the second or third innings, not the 6th inning, which is what happened today. And they didn't stop Kentucky from scoring either. So when we look at the numbers, 6 runs on 9 hits usually should win a game for Arkansas. The problem is this is the second time Kentucky has scored 9 or more runs against the Hogs. I mean, that's a really good team. I'm really impressed with Kentucky. Their fielders today is a humongous reason why they won the ball game. Not necessarily the 2 home runs, a home run saving catch, a couple of nice plays by infielders up the middle, nice plays by the third baseman. I mean, they're kind of a complete team. I don't think they have guys that blow you away with big velocity, but they have guys who know how to pitch. And They just played a lot better than Arkansas did today. They hit a lot better. And, look, when they take advantage of Hagan walking the first batter, then a pickoff that goes errant, and then the next thing, they're basically allowed to play the style of game they want to play. And that's what Kentucky likes to do, is make a team feel uncomfortable. And I don't think that Arkansas ever felt comfortable today. Part of it was maybe, I don't know, their mindset, or they just didn't play a good game. A lot of it was also just what Kentucky did to them. That's what they've been doing to teams all year.
McCarthy, that kid that you mentioned, that Rob McLaughlin's all home run, apparently that's his first of his career. So that just goes to show you it was not Arkansas's day today. Now, we got a text in here, Phil, on the McCarty Dana hotline from Jim in Fayetteville asking about settling on a lineup. Did Edmondson do anything, not just today, the last 2 days, that makes you feel like he has a better chance to lock up that left field? Or is it still, you think, in flux this next weekend?
Ty, the regular season is over and Hoover is over. We don't know who the left fielder is for this team. That's just a fact. I don't even think we know who the center fielder is for this team. You're settled on the infield. You know Kendall Diggs is the right fielder. Kendall has, if we're waiting for Kendall to turn it on, I don't know if you can just turn it on automatically after 57 games. By this time, the team is what they are. And maybe they'll break out and have a big couple of games offensively in the regional. But I can't tell you who the left fielder is going to be. I don't think Dave Van Horn can tell you who the left fielder is going to be. Think of all the guys who've had opportunities to try to lock down left field even before this last month. Jason Jones, Peyton Holt, Will Edmondson, Ross Lovich. And Holt, has kind of locked it down because he's in center field and Wilmsmeyer doesn't play. But the lineup continuously is changing because they haven't found the recipe to how you put a lineup together that leads to really going downhill and building some offensive momentum. It works every once in a while, but it hasn't necessarily led to momentum. And Dave likes to put a lineup together 1 through 9 that's the same every single game. That's what Kentucky does. Kentucky's got the exact same lineup 1 through 9. They don't change the spots in their lineup very often. Well, they've had an offense that's kind of been clicking all year long, and the Hogs' offense has clicked off and on. So I don't know what the lineup's going to look like. I could take a guess at it, but it's just an educated guess, and I'd probably be proven wrong by whatever Dave puts out there on Friday next week.
Now I guess the next news for Hog baseball fans is this Sunday and Monday. You're going to find out what seeding you are on Sunday for the regional, and then I guess you'll be a national seed, so you'll get a super if you win that weekend, and then you'll find out the teams on Monday. And just kind of this, it's a little different than, let's say, the NCAA tournament. I guess they'll fly home later. You guys will fly home later on today, but it's just kind of a waiting game for the next few days now, Phil.
It's exactly what it is, and I know what I want to do. I just kind of want to get my mind off of baseball for a little bit. This is actually a weekend because they won't play this weekend. It is the first weekend since the second weekend of February that they won't have games. So
oh wow,
you got to take advantage of that. Really, I mean, it'd be great to be here and playing on a Saturday to try to get to the championship game of the SEC tournament, but mean, they really we want to try to look at this as a positive. They now have a weekend where they don't have to worry about a thing. They're set as far as national seed is concerned. They know they're going to be playing at home. They don't have to hurry and pack or anything like that. They can take their time. So you can look at that as a positive. I'm not going to watch any of the SEC tournament this weekend. My son's birthday is tomorrow. I'm actually going to get home to be home for his birthday for the first time in years. So I'm excited about that. And I just expect. I think this is a really good Arkansas baseball team. They did not play well today. Good teams don't put that many bad games back to back. I think they'll show up next weekend. I think they'll play well.
What was it, a week or so ago that Dave said he was locking up the clubhouse and just to give the guys an extra day or two off? Maybe that same mentality is taken this weekend before the regional next weekend.
Yeah, even after that, once the season's over, a lot of them end up going to play summer collegiate ball or get ready for the draft and everything. There are not going to be a lot of weekends in the middle of a season where they kind of just have a chance to relax, go fishing, go swimming, sleep in, have a night out, something like that. Be a late teenager, be an early 20-something. Don't go crazy, but take advantage of these days where you don't have to put a lot of stress on your body. You can rest, and they have it right there in front of them, man. I mean, it really is. What you're trying to do in the regular season is achieve enough to be a top 8 national seed. They've done that. It's right there in front of them. And I don't think they need to go home hanging their heads from what's happened here.
Well, Phil, I know that you've got some stuff between now and the flight home to get taken care of. And again, you just did a long broadcast, and it started a little early for you. So we appreciate you joining us, and be safe getting home there, man. Tell the little man happy birthday tomorrow from me.
Yeah, Gabe's turning 13. I'm excited about it. He has no clue that I'm coming home, so it's gonna be a surprise when he wakes up tomorrow.
Big 1-3. That is see you, buddy. That is Phil Elson, the voice of Razorback baseball, women's basketball, and of course co-host of Halftime with our buddy Matt Jones. We appreciate him jumping in. Again, all of our live coverage this week has been brought to you by our friends at the Stadium Shop on Razorback and Kofer's Boat Center in Fort Smith. When we return, we're going to hear directly from your head baseball coach. We've got some calls here on the McLarty Daniel hotline that we're going to field as well, and a few texts. It's Hog Reaction following a 9-6 loss to the Kentucky Wildcats.
This is Hog Reaction. Our coverage is presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback and by Kofer's Boat Center in Fort Smith.
This is Robert.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Hey, do y'all know what time it is?
It's about 2:30.
Summertime.
It's that and a whole lot more.
And no matter what's happening, the Stadium Shop has what you need.
We have the best selection for showing off your Razorback spirit while on vacation, even Razorback swim trunks.
Graduations, anniversaries, birthdays, we have what you need for your event.
And we have what you need for that trip to Omaha.
Even a new line of hard shell luggage.
Also, Omaha tees, flags, bases loaded hats, and the boppers.
And you can get them here at the Stadium Shop located at 989 South Razorback Road next to Baum Walker Stadium. Or you can check us online at those WWNs.
Dad, let me do that before you hurt yourself. He's talking about our website, shoponrazorback.com.
And if you can't reach us there, call us at 479-STADIUM.
All from the only family, alumni-owned and operated Razorback store.
South of the North Pole.
Dad, please.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go
Hawks.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
Summer is finally here. Come check out Kofer's Boat Center's huge selection of boats with the best incentives in years. Kofer's experienced professionals will answer all your boating questions, and their award-winning customer service with Mercury, Malibu, Lowe, Camus, and Garmin will keep your boat in peak condition. Kofer's also has a fully stocked pro shop and updated RV and boat storage facilities. Find Kofer's online at Kofer's.com. That's COPHERS.com. Kofer's Boat Center, your authorized Mercury dealer, helping their customers create a lifetime of memories for over 50 years.
Ty Richardson for Eastside Liquor, your number one stop for the Hogs Run to Omaha. Every watch party, every event, they can take care of you at Eastside Liquor. Need your favorite beer or seltzer for the Hog Pen? They've got it all at Eastside Liquor. Stop by and see Dave and his team at 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Did I mention it's lake season 2? Regardless of the lake that you spend your summer, the only place you gotta stop before is Eastside Liquor.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Drive a compact SUV that has more style, power, and technology with the 2023 Buick Envision at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get 1.9% financing for 60 months on remaining 2023 Buick Envisions. Or choose up to $3,500 in factory discounts. The Buick Envision, it's all about you and designed to inspire. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Cheap Sleep Memorial Day weekend sale now through May 31st. Get an additional 30% off all red stickered items. Sales tax paid on all name brand mattresses. 4-piece bedroom sets starting at only $6.99. Dining room sets starting at $1.99. And all reclining furniture is 20% off. Sales tax paid for all veterans and active duty. Cheap Sleep in Springdale, Fort Smith, Bentonville, and Conway. Cheap Sleep Furniture and Mattresses. Wishing you a safe Memorial Day weekend.
Superior Siding and Windows have been improving homes in Fort Smith and the River Valley for over 44 years. Whether your need is siding, vinyl windows, doors, gutters, or metal roofing, Superior Siding is the one to call if you want it done right the first time. Call 479-646-7888 for a free estimate. 100% financing is available, and Superior Siding has AAA rating with Better Business Bureau. Superior Siding, your first call, 479-646-7888.
Dive into summer with the Doughboy Pool Super Sale at Burton Pools and Spas. Say goodbye to crowded public pools. With a Doughboy Pool, the fun comes to you. Don't miss the hottest deals of the year. Doughboy above-ground pools up to $1,500 off. 18-foot steel wall pools only $75 a month. And semi-in-ground pools under $200 a month, plus a free robotic cleaner. Hurry into our Fort Smith, Springdale, or Greenland showroom to pick out your new pool today. At Burton Pools and Spas, we do more than build swimming pools. We build long-term relationships.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. This is Hog Reaction.
There is a new career strikeout king at the University of Arkansas, and it's Hagen Smith, and he hasn't even completed his third season here.
Our coverage is presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback and by Kofer's Boat Center in Fort Smith.
We're going to go right to the McLarty Daniel hotline because Delilah in Scranton has been patiently waiting for about 20 minutes or so. Delilah, go ahead. You are on Hog Reaction.
Yes, I was saying, I've never been a Hog fan until I got with my husband, David, and he listens to basketball, football, baseball, all of it. But what I hear from the announcers and everybody else is supposed to be Hog fans is nothing but negative. And when you put nothing but negative out there, you're going to get bad results. Kind of like the Ghostbusters, where the pink goop in New York was taken over, and how they stop it, started speaking positive.
Well, who called in this morning? Sterling called in this morning. And Delilah, we appreciate the call. I thought you were about to tell me your husband was Samson, and then we really would have had something there. Two names back in the biblical days. But I think you're right. So it was Sterling that was like, if you're going to show up to the ballpark next weekend, be Tigger, don't be Eeyore. And I get where he's coming from. I feel like now there's times where I take losses really hard. And my dad has warned against me doing this, and I just don't know if I'm ever going to change at 29 or 69. I think it's going to stay the exact same. Football, basketball, baseball, especially close ones, especially nail biters, I take them really hard. And a lot of Arkansas fans are like that, right? Like, it's the pride and soul of your state, your heritage, pageantry, tradition. It's a family thing. And perfect example, you weren't a fan until you got with your husband, David, which congratulations, David, for turning your wife into a Hog fan. And so it consumes your life. And for some of you, it doesn't. It's just passing. So it's when you don't think the team is having success or posed for a postseason run, it gets to you. And I understand that. But again, I would caution you by saying again, the SEC tournament is not an indication of future postseason success. I don't know how many times I need to recite what I've done already, probably 4 or 5, but I'll do it again today.
There's a lot of evidence.
There's a lot of evidence against it. The last 3 national champions from the conference are 1-7 in the last 3 SEC tournaments. And in addition to that, the last 3 tournament champions in the SEC have failed to make the College World Series. 2 years ago, when Arkansas went through Stillwater, Oklahoma, and Chapel Hill, North Carolina, they went 0-2 in barbecue in Hoover, and then made it. And were I'm forgetting the pitcher DeLucia or whatever, the Ole Miss kid that had himself a day against the Razorbacks. If not for the luck, maybe the luckiest national title run in the history of sports with Ole Miss, you'd have a national title. And you need some luck on your side, right? Like, if like Hagan has a bad outing or a bad game, and Kentucky, you heard Phil talk about, has played Hagan as good as anyone has this season, as Bill and Dave was saying that with him before the show. So you'll need some luck at some point, and hopefully it bounces your way. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this team is a lock to move on to Super Regionals the following weekend. We saw last year that's not the case. They won the West last year and got really clapped by TCU. I hope that doesn't happen again. I hope this team has a way to figure it out, unlike last year's team. But I get where you're coming from, Delilah, and I appreciate your call. And more importantly, I appreciate you joining in with your husband and the Razorback fandom that he is apparently given you to this point. So on to the other pitchers outside of Hagan. We saw a handful of other guys. Gage Wood didn't have his best outing, gave up some home runs. He didn't make it through 3 innings, gave up 6 hits. I know that he was disappointed. I saw him punching the dugout after the game. Will McIntyre, didn't see him a lot. You also saw Brady Tigert, who got out there pretty quick. He had a routine grounder come to him, and he just misgloved it. A lot of spin on the ball, and then he gave up the home run basically 2 pitches later. And then Mason Molina was solid. I don't know if you here's the conundrum Dave and Matt Hobb face. Yeah. Molina's looked really good coming out of the bullpen. Do you keep him there? Like, Gackle's been a dude for you all season. I know he gave up the 2-run shot yesterday, but I believe, think about this, and I can't remember who references if this was Phil, Chuck, or maybe it's Tommy, but I think that was Gackle's first home run he gave up this season. He's a freshman, and it's the SEC tournament. So he went through all of February, March, April, May, and right up to the end of May, and potentially didn't do that. That's pretty impressive, but I am curious when we talk to Dave what he says about Mason Molina's role moving forward, because I heard Mason say he didn't care. He'll do whatever he needs to do for this baseball team, Big C.
Here's something else to think about. I mean, is it that obvious who's going to start game 1 of the regional? I mean, maybe Molina, maybe Tigert. I definitely wouldn't start Hagan in game 1. You don't want to waste him. I mean, winning a game in the regional is not wasting a pitcher necessarily, but with a guy like that, you want him to pitch in the biggest game, and you just like to think that, game 1, you can throw almost anybody out there and get the win. We know that's not always the case, but that first matchup's usually the easiest of the others. So, man, Tigert pitched an inning, looked pretty good. Maybe that did a little bit for his confidence. We saw Molina pitch at Texas A&M, and maybe that did something for his confidence. I think you can go with either one of those guys. I'm leaning Molina right now.
Jesse from Springdale with an interesting text. He hates to say it, but I think Dave Van Horn is like the Rick Barnes of baseball. Here's the difference. Dave Van Horn's been to a national championship game and been on the brink.
Did he drop
Rick
that
Barnes
foul ball?
hasn't. No. And
seriously,
from a regular season standpoint, Dave Van Horn's had more success than Rick Barnes in Tennessee. If you want to make a good comparison for Dave Van Horn and really this Arkansas baseball program, it's Gonzaga. And Arkansas plays in a much tougher league in a much tougher division than the West Coastal Conference or whatever it is. It's not close. And again, they just haven't. They've been, I don't even know, like if you're judging the crest or the very top of Mount Kilimanjaro or Mount Everest, Arkansas has been on like the, I don't even know, like the final step right before you plant your flag, and they just slipped on some snow, basically.
The more you want it to happen, the more likely it's not going to happen. You just have to kind of just sit back and enjoy the season and see how it plays out. I mean, that's one thing I've learned. I mean, you can't be negative, like Delilah said. Being negative does, I believe, affect, it can affect the players. I don't know exactly how it would. I mean,
they're humans. They jump on social media. I think Bill might have said this when he popped on with us this morning. That's part of it, man. It's our nature. And I think Dave Van Horn tweets once a year, but his guys are on social media. It's different from a 21-year-old versus Dave, which I believe Dave's in his early 60s. There's just a different level. So they do see that. I'm not saying that you have to be all sunshine. Don't mishear me. I'm not saying that you have to be sunshine and rainbows right now, because I thought Phil laid it out. They've got to play better baseball next week, and he was pretty blunt about that. But you also don't have to tear into these guys either. Now, Annie in Mountain Home, before we go back to the McLarty Daniel hotline where we're welcoming Jay and Rogers, Annie in Mountain Home says this baseball team needs to just go get drunk and chill out and then come back guns blazing. That's his approach. They just need to have a good old weekend, have themselves a time, and then not think about baseball this weekend, which sounds like from Phil's vantage point, they're not going to do that. Jay is in Rogers on the McLarty Daniel hotline. Jay, what's going on, man?
Oh, not much, fellas. Just watching some SEC baseball. Hey, I've lived in Arkansas my whole life, so I got a pretty good opinion, I think, on the Razorbacks and how they, and our fans and how they operate. And I don't understand why we look so passive almost at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a lot of the SEC teams are a little more aggressive at the plate. I think, and I don't understand. Okay, this was my main point. I kind of got off track there. My main question to you guys was, I don't understand the moving up of Kendall Diggs to lead off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a baseball coach. I'm not second guessing Van Horn. I never would. I've been to Omaha the last 3 times I've been there and watched them. I was even there for the heartbreak against the Beavers. But I don't understand why we keep Kendall Diggs in the lineup when it almost seems like he's an automatic out every time.
I think, Jay, I think that's a fair question to ask. I hope Kendall gets going. I think we all do. But whether it's an injury or whether him just being out. By the way, he roped a couple in a right today. They just were foul. Like it's not like he's just swinging and missing at everything. We saw yesterday. He got a hit, and then a couple, unfortunately, were the caught or ground out or whatever. It would be one thing if he just wasn't making contact, but he's at least getting it. So, fair foul. You agree that Kendall has been an important part of this team the last 2 years, right? He's come up with some big hits.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think, and I'm not in that locker room, I'm not in that dugout, but I think he's earned the respect from his baseball coach to continue, even in struggling, to play, because this has not just been a last 2-week thing. This has been a good chunk of this season. And as far as the lineup goes, he wants that, just be able to turn in the same lineup card each and every game. But there's no one that has solidified that left field position. Therefore, it's turned into, basically a merry-go-round of guys. Jones, Lovich. I know Wilms Myers plays center, but you think Edmondson? I mean, they keep going through guys. So I know that's frustrating for Dave Van Horn, Jay.
Can I ask you guys another question?
Go right ahead.
And then, all throughout the regular season, we've been hearing that, and even before the preseason, they were saying that our pitching staff was so loaded, and that was going to be our crutch, if you would, to get us to Omaha again and possibly put a title in Fayetteville.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the last few series, other than Hayden Smith and Gage Wood, it seems like the others they've just kind of lost it. And I'm not trying to be pessimistic here. I am a Hog fan through and through. Will be I have been, always will be. But it just seems like our pitching has just hit a rut. Is that a fair assessment, or do you guys think that they were just trying to get through the weekend?
Jay, appreciate your call. Appreciate you jumping here on Hog Reaction. We got about 10 more minutes or so, so if you have some thoughts on this baseball team, not just this game, but overall, jump in on the McLarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Here's what I would say. The competition that you've gone up against, Kentucky today, right, national seed. Your last two road series have been in College Station against the national seed in Texas A&M, who's a really good hitting team, and then Kentucky, who leads the conference in steals, right? It's really, really tough. So, and Mississippi State, who is probably going to be a regional team. You could argue, and again, I'm not trying to pull sunshine out of the clouds right now because it's cloudy, right? It's not raining and thunderstorming and tornadoing, but it's cloudy. You could argue this was the toughest part of the schedule this year, and the pitching, as you alluded to, Jay, was not great. It wasn't. You look at the overall statistics, though, that Arkansas finds themselves in the conference in pitching categories. They're number one or number two in almost every one of them. So, that being said, you hope that is your position of strength this year. And again, the hitting was there today. You had 9 hits. You could have brought some more guys home, but you scored 6 runs. You just allowed 9. It's not.
The pitching has masked a lot of the hitting
woes.
deficiencies
Yes, it
this
has.
year. When the pitching's not great, then your offense is forced to. And they scored a lot of runs today, but so did the other team. So you'd like to see them both kind of clicking at the same time, and that's easier said than done. And that the Kendall Diggs thing, like, that kind of reminds me of the Brady Slavens slump that he went through a couple years ago.
That is an excellent comparison, Big C.
I mean, he was a great piece to the lineup all year, and then towards the end of the season and into the postseason just kind of fell off a little bit. But we never took him out of the lineup.
Let's go to some players. Let's go to Dave. Let's hear what they said after the game. First and foremost, opening statement from your head baseball coach.
When we made a mistake, they hit it out of the park for the most part, and we didn't play a clean game. The first inning we got behind early, threw a ball away, and didn't catch a ball at second, and bang, we gave them 2 runs, and they're tough to catch because when they get ahead of you, they can do some things, and
they bear down on you a little bit. But then Holt gave you some life. Holt the Colt, as he's been dubbed by a fellow Batesville native. I don't know if he has had that nickname before, but that was what a fellow Batesville native that I was texting during the day dubbed him. And I think that with Peyton Holt, let me change. Gage Wood, he's a fellow Batesville native with Gage Wood, but he loves Peyton Holt, so he calls him Holt the Colt. So Holt brings him life, right? He brings him in, he gets that. Was it a 3-run shot? It was either 2 or 3-run shot. Yeah, 3-run shot. And all of a sudden, all right, it's a game. It's 6-4 at that point, Big C?
Yes.
And you're thinking they're going to get things going. And just unfortunately wasn't able to push on really consistently from that.
I thought that one was going to get robbed too.
Yeah.
I mean, it barely cleared, but the one McLaughlin hit was.
First time that kid's ever done that in his career is what I heard. First time ever. Now, pitching. You asked about pitching, Jay, and again, a lot of questions. I wonder what Dave Van Horn and Matt Hobbs, those conversations are the next couple days about Mason Molina.
It was really good to see Mason pitch well again. He threw well in relief. Game 2 against A&M, the game we needed to win to wrap up the West. This is his first outing since, and he matched it again, threw really well. So
good performance. And I question I question if you put him back in the starting rotation because you feel like he earned it back, or if he likes pitching out of the pen. I don't know. I don't have those inner workings, those inner conversations. It's just something that I think is intriguing when it comes to him moving forward. And for Mason, that's what he said about it.
I'm going to throw where I'm needed, and that's up for them to decide, and I'm just going to go out there and pitch to the best of my ability wherever they want me. So we haven't talked about it yet, but I'm just going to go out there and throw to the best of my abilities.
You got to remember, this is a kid in Lubbock, Texas, was their Friday starter. I think his second team All Big 12 performer. So he's known what it's like for pressure. And again, regardless of where he puts him, you just hope it rounds out. Now, I mentioned with Phil earlier, Arkansas is going to have a couple days. Maybe some of you will watch the SEC baseball tournament the rest of the way. Maybe some of you will check out till next weekend. I completely understand that. I don't really have much of an interest of watching many of the games this weekend. I want to see who wins the thing, and then I want to see who Arkansas gets which seed Arkansas gets as of Sunday, and then the teams that will be announced on Monday. And then you kind of revamp your baseball energy, your optimism. You start talking about it. I mean, who gets in your regional? Like that's the question you ask yourself between now and then. That and is this baseball team going to turn around? You almost have to compartmentalize this weekend from next weekend, potentially the weekend after. I know it's technically a postseason tournament. It's the SEC baseball postseason tournament, but I know SEC and ESPN executives and SEC Network executives would tell you otherwise, but it's just not that big of a deal. It's just not. And
the only time we refer to what happened in Hoover is like at the end of the season, like after everything's played out. I mean, nobody cares about this. This time next week, we're going to be thinking about who's in our regional. We're not going to care about this.
Nope, that is the big thing this week. And in terms of the regional, the setup next week, I'm excited to tell you that we're going to be live at the Stadium Shop on Razorback. That is going to be a lot of fun seeing Robert, seeing Matthew, seeing Elizabeth this next Friday prior to the regional. And again, them and Cofer's Boat Center in Fort Smith have been a part of our SEC tournament coverage this week. Appreciate them helping us out with everything live in Hoover, Alabama. Coming up, Derek Ruskin, Zach Arns, DQ will take you the next 5 hours, discuss baseball, and who knows what else. I mean, I can't. My rundown, it looks a lot different than Derek's.
Your
I can
guess
tell
is
you
as good
that.
as mine,
That's the way to look at it. But they take you next for the next 5 hours. So stay tuned right here on ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, and our brand new Hit That Line Now app.
Summer is finally here. Come check out Cofer's Boat Center.